yeah, everybody does say that. Oh, this is our heaviest. Oh, this is our best. But I mean, you're supposed to grow with every album. So it's not like anybody's wrong for saying that. Some fans may, have a different opinion.
Ghost Cult Magazine once again welcomes in Mixi from Stitched Up Heart. How are you today?
I'm doing amazing. Just, dealing with my trauma and humor.
There it is. Deflect, deflect. That's what we do. And luckily, we have music and other things to distract us. Great to talk to you. We're on the eve of your new album. This interview will probably run sometime after, but I'm really stoked. Normally, it's a treat for me to follow your whole career, especially your career at CM. Century Media Records has done a fantastic job with you. Shout out to the label, shout out to C Squared for setting us up together. And so To the Wolves is coming out. And I know every band is supposed to say this is our best record, right? But I really do feel like this is this is the culmination of everything you've been working at for a very long time. What do you think about that?
100%. Absolutely. I know. Yeah, everybody does say that. Oh, this is our heaviest. Oh, this is our best. But I mean, you're supposed to grow with every album. So it's not like anybody's wrong for saying that. Some fans may, have a different opinion. But it's by far hands down the best record we've ever written to date.
Right on. No band has ever said to me, "This is our worst record," for sure. Like no one. And then I
Yeah,
think,
there's better.
yeah. Well, there's fans. I think the thing that makes a person a fan, they fall in love with the thing that attracts you to them or them to you in the first place artistically, and then that's what they focus on. Like that's some people make their whole identity about bands, which is a little weird. I have been a lover of music my whole life, and I've seen it. Like fan bases are weird, can be weird. I hope yours is not weird with you. They seem very, very dedicated.
Well, if they follow me, they must be weird. So there's that. Yeah, no, ours, I think that we've just cultivated a really close, like, group of, I guess, fans. I don't like to call them that, but like just the people that support us. And I think we try to connect with them as much as possible with some sort of boundaries, but like try to really be there.
Yeah, it matters. That
I try to be.
Yeah, yeah. I meant we're all kind of weird in our own way. I just meant weird to you about the growth of the band and the evolution of the band. Because some fans are just like, this belongs to me. This record belongs to me. This song belongs to me, which it belongs to everybody. So it's just it's on one hand, it's like you love that level of intensity, right? That's gratifying. It has to be gratifying for someone to love your music so much that it means so much to them. On the other hand, can be a line step sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. I think that if anybody does follow us that closely and is that connected, they do know that we aren't ones to not try different things. We're very much about like exploring different territories and pushing our boundaries. And we haven't yet solidified what the sound is. So there's room, like we've written tracks that are completely electronic, and we've written tracks that are super heavy and just screams. So it's like there is no straight lane, but I do know where like the vicinity of where we should be is.
Of course, of course. And it is definitely a much heavier record, and I think it starts in it, really starts with you. Vocals are stupendous on this record. I'm not exaggerating. Really, like the whole performance of the record, your vocal performance is tremendous. And I think you don't like your guitar. You don't get enough credit for songwriting and guitars, I think, from the press, the little that I've explored. So I gotta just shout you guys out. Musically, it's really strong, and your vocals are killer.
Wow, thank you so much. Yeah, I've worked really, really hard on my voice. I always have room to grow and get better, but I really appreciate you saying that because that is like my kryptonite, my sweet spot. Like if like some people like the way to your heart is through your stomach. Mine is like tell me something nice about my voice and like actually mean it. That means a lot. So thank you. And the guitar work, I will forward the message.
Yeah, of course. I think the band is firing on all cylinders here, and we'll get into the tracks in a second. But like I said, I wanted to talk about a little bit about your work here, and also lyrics. We were graced with the lyric sheet. We don't always get one, And it was really fun to kind of, pick apart these songs and really spend some time with them. So we'll get to some meanings in a little bit when we talk about the tracks. But, just obviously the whole world went through like a crazy psychotic break a few years ago, and we're all still kind of dealing with it, all of us outliers in the music industry, right? So, was there any personal stuff that this record seems very intensely personal, much more than even anything else you've done before?
Yeah, obviously the pandemic had some play in the lyrical content. The last song on the record, "The End," was the first song that we wrote, ironically, and it's very much question mark, what is happening with the world? I don't know what's happening. And then I think a lot of it was a little bit like trying to get back out on the tours and stuff, back out on the road. And it was me like fighting to get back out there because it felt like everything was pushing us back. And it was like, no, I'm going to fight for this. And so you can feel and hear a lot of the angst and aggression in this, like, I'm trapped in this cage and I need to like get out of this house kind of feeling. So there's a lot of that for sure. Definitely had an effect on the lyrics.
Right on. Let's delve into the track by track. The album opens with the title track. Not always the case, but in this case, it's like right in your face, right from the get-go.
Yes, To the Wolves, we actually wrote it with Kevin Thrasher, who's part of Escape the Fate. He is awesome. And it just felt like an intro to the Wolves song. Like we actually we named the title of that track to be the title track after the album had already been titled. So he was like, this is the title track. We're like, okay, that's fine. So it just felt right having like the wolves in the background, the intro at the very beginning to start off the record that way. But yep, Kevin Thrasher of Escape the Fate singing on it, or Craig Mabbitt. So it's like Kevin and Craig together, Escape the Fate, stitched up, heart squish up.
Nice. And you tour with them quite a bit, and will in the future again. So that's kind of fun. Maybe we'll get it live where everybody jumps on stage. We'll see.
I hope so.
Fingers crossed. Thunder is the second track on the record.
Yeah, that one, it was a very, very stormy day in Nashville, and I was feeling self-destructive, and I was feeling like I just anything I touch turns to poop. Like kind of just like I'm destroying everything around me. And like, we're our own worst enemy kind of aspect. And just, it just happened to fit really well with the way that the weather was that day. And I remember listening to it back and just being like, wow, like I felt the storms in the song. So I hope that.
Yep, definitely came through. The Hunting, which is I feel like one of my favorite tracks on the record so far, is third.
Nice. Yeah, I think that's one of my favorites too. Also written in Nashville lyrics wise. I was in a forest and I wanted to really embody the the lyrical content of feeling like you're like a pack of wolves out on the prowl, like hunting your prey and just out for blood and like hiding in the forest. Like what does it feel like to like be stalking my prey? And I scared a couple hikers and just like wanted to pounce on a squirrel and like even though I love animals, I love squirrels, but I wouldn't actually do it. But I was imagining that morbid kind of vision in my head. And yeah, I just wanted to feel like I was a wolf and attacking things.
There you go. There are many wolves on this album, and two inside of each of
Uh-huh.
us. Possess Me is the next track.
Was one of the first ones that I wrote lyrically in Nashville. Flew out there a few times, and I wanted to dig into the spiritual realm a little bit. And so it was kind of like the idea of like this succubus, incubus kind of entity, or like my darkness trying to pull me and lure me and like seduce me into the dark side. And just a very intimate song with our little devil on our shoulder kind of concept.
Nice, I dig it. Immortal is the next track.
So, Immortal was written in the beginning of the war with Russia and Ukraine. And I was sucked into the television. I was like, what do I do to help? But it was kind of about like immortalizing yourself and fighting for something that's bigger than you. And just basically like you did this to yourself. People can take it differently because I've gotten a couple different responses for the lyrics on that. But ultimately, it was like about being a hero in a sense. And I have some Easter egg quotes from Marvel movies because I felt like immortals and stuff like that works well together. So just trying to find those.
Nicely done. Yeah, I'm still surprised that's it's like still a thing. But shout out to Ukraine. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. Taste for Blood is the next track.
Yeah, it's about my intimate relationship with a metaphorical vampire that I just felt like it is a person in real life, but it is also a vampire. So I just wanted to write another kind of sexy one with like the possess me elements that could be like its cousin, and it's just about the end of the world with vampires.
There it is. Conquer and Divide is next.
It's another word, not so much political on one side or the other, but it is about like kind of it's a pandemic, post-pandemic song where we felt like we were just being like fighting against each other all the time, and it should be uniting each other. And Conquer and Divide is pretty straightforward as far as the title of it goes for what that song is about.
Well said, well said. We are living in weird times where things don't get done. Dead Inside is next.
It's again another one of those where it just pretty much tells you I am a hot mess, and nice to meet you. No, yeah, it's just about kind of feeling like you're dead inside and like you're just living this like zombie life, you know.
Well, I hope you're okay, Mixi. Um, as we, I hope you're okay, and if you're not okay, that's okay too. But I hope more than not, you're okay. Uh,
I
the
am today.
good. You said you were wonderful and amazing.
Yeah.
The Architect is next.
Whew, let's just say that one is about, you know, some people are in your life for a season and some people for a reason, and some people come and go, and sometimes you have to say goodbye. And even if you've got a lot of history with them, you just sometimes you have to move on.
Fair enough. Toxic relationships are toxic for a reason. That's why they're called that. The next to last track on the album is Part of Me.
Mm. I don't really know how to explain this one. This is the only song on the record I didn't write the lyrics. So what I gather from it is that they murdered someone, I think. I'm really not sure. I was given the song and people really liked it, so it's on the record, and that's all I got.
What's it like for you to that you've written so many of these deeply personal songs to then get to step out of that and inhabit almost the character of someone else's lyrics? How's that for you?
I am not very good at that. I cannot connect as well with other people's songs as my own because it doesn't feel authentic, and I really strive to be true to myself. And it's really hard for me to connect. And almost every album has one song on it that I didn't write, and those are always the ones I never ever want to do live.
Fair enough. Fans be warned. If you end up loving those songs, probably not going to hear it live. Um, and then finally, we talked a little bit about it already, but the end closes the album out.
Yeah, that was the very first song, like I said, that we wrote. A lot of question marks on where do we go from here, and um, I think it pretty much just like a lot of confusion, and it's a great ending song too because where do we go now? Like, you know, so it's an interesting segue from and to the next record.
Oh, already planning the next record, perhaps.
Who isn't? Like we've had this one turned in for a year now, so we're ready to like record the next one, but we should tour first. So yeah, we've written a couple already.
Amazing. I don't want to be too contrived, but it does seem to be like there's a plethora of great women-led bands with new records coming out. Obviously, in this moment, people are buzzing about already this record, OTEP, Cinnamon Babe. Like, there's a lot of powerful records coming out right now. I don't necessarily think it's a trend thing. I just think it's a coincidence, but I think it's nice that the you're putting out like this very strong record at this same time as again, some of your former peers and touring partners are also putting out records. So I hope it bodes well for the band and for the success of the album.
I hope so. I mean, I feel like when artists are on the same page and same, like there's almost the same thought process happening with lyrical content and song titles and things like that. And like the energies, we're all going through it at the same time. So it's written around the same time. And I think artists are connected to like almost a similar thing, like something I can't explain, but we seem to have a lot of similar ideas. So I really hope that it's just a big movement of powerful records with women in it, you know?
Right on. I failed to mention that I'm also hugely into the new Butcher Babies album. So good, and I know it's your LA peeps, basically. Just I like to end these with a wild card question. So I have one for you, which is doesn't have to necessarily be rock or metal, but what was the first song you ever loved in life? Like, do you have a favorite song from early childhood that you still remember?
How far back do you want to go?
As far back as you want to go.
I think Here Comes the Sun by the Beatles because it was a song that I didn't know what it was and it would get stuck in my head. And then I heard covers of it. And I later on down the road, I realized it was a Beatles song and like a deep cut. And I didn't realize that it was the Beatles. And it reminds me of my dad. And it just, I don't know, it just got something sentimental about that song.
Right on. It is a great song, and Beatles covers are like Beatles are the most covered band I think ever. And this is the second interview today that the Beatles came up on. So awesome for confluences and coincidences. Mixi of Stitched Up Heart, awesome to see you again. Awesome to talk to you. Congrats on this new album, To the Wolves, coming out once again on the great Century Media Records. Just all the best to you and the band. I'm really excited for this record, and I'm excited to hear what people think of it after it drops.
Thank you so much. And I'm excited, nervous, all the things. Like I really hope people like it, but I'm at my healing journey where if I like it, I'm happy with that.
Nice. That's a good way to go out. Thank you so much for your time and hanging with Ghost Cult. See you soon.
Bye.